everybody, and welcome back to Amanda Gilliam Presents. We are back with a brand new podcast, another year. We're having fun, and today I get to bring on one of my favorite creators of all time. This woman goes, "Hey, did you just get your taxes? Cool. I just got a Kickstarter. Let me contact you. The one, the only, Madeleine." You knew I got my, that's what happened. You found out that I got my taxes.
That must have been it. That must have been it.
So how have you been doing?
Super busy. Too many plates spinning all at the same time. As you know, we're finishing up Boston Metaphysical Society Pikes Peak. I'd gotten the new artist on board. She's finished issue 3. She's starting issue 4. Colorist is working on issue 3, so all good on that. I know. Hopefully in the fall, I'll be running a Kickstarter to finish off that series.
Okay. And fall, get prepared.
And my story for Lady Mechanica is going to be coming to Kickstarter. I think they're going to launch it towards the end of the month because I've been doing the final drafts for the script. And
nice.
Getting that in. And of course, the main reason I'm here is my brand new story, Morgana Pendragon, which is currently on Kickstarter.
Would you like me to play the video?
Yes, I would.
Then let's play the video.
Hi, my name is Madeleine Holly-Rosing. Many of you know me from my steampunk supernatural series, Boston Metaphysical Society. But today, I'm here to introduce you to my brand new 4-issue miniseries, Morgana Pendragon.
Yay!
Loosely based on the legend of King Arthur, this story focuses on Morgana, King Arthur's sister, who, having lost her magic when she fled England 20 years ago, leads a mercenary team wherever the best paycheck is. All that changes when she receives a message to return. Her brother, King Arthur, is dying. Now she must not only face Mordred, the child she left behind, but a new threat which may forever change her and the future of her country. This Kickstarter is to print the first issue with cover art by Rio Burton, interiors by Alden Kay, colors by Warnia Sahadewa, and letters by Troy Pateri. The story is 26 pages in a 32-page book, which means, you guessed it, lots of extras. And there's more. We'll have a limited variant cover by Roberta Ingranata in both standard and metal covers. And Alden has created the most gorgeous metal bookmarks, which will be available in a few reward tiers, as well as add-ons. The best part is the comic is being lettered and should be ready to go to the printer by the end of the campaign. So please, be sure to check out all of our reward tiers and pledge today. Thank you in advance for your support.
Yo, let's go! That was awesome!
Yeah, Alden, the whole team has just done a tremendous job, and I couldn't be happier. I was very fortunate. I've been looking for an artist for this for a while. And as we know, there's lots of tremendously good artists out there, absolutely amazing. But, finding the one that fits my vision and my budget and scheduling and everything that's a little more difficult. And I was at Rose City Comic Con last year, chatting with David Walker, the writer, Bitterroot, Big Jim and the White Boy. He's done a gazillion things. And I mentioned him that, I was looking for an artist for this new project. And he says, hey, I just met this guy. He goes, I want to bring him on for a personal project of his. And he says, do you mind if I send him by your table? I said, sure. Yeah, absolutely. So all of a sudden, Alden steps, not long after that, steps in front of my table and says, hi, David Walker. And I said, oh, great. Thank you for stopping by. He says, yeah, here's some of my stuff. And he starts shifting through it. Turns out he won the Mad Cave talent search. And then I looked at his stuff and I went I found my artist. I just found it. And I even told him this, and I said, one of the reasons I wanted to work with you is because you draw women who look like women. Tall, short, fat, just normal women. No boob windows, no bubble boobs, no, they just normal, just normal women in all of the varieties that we come in. And it's going to be interesting. We have the main antagonist. I like that. I'm afraid. Well, I have him. I have Alden locked in for the 4 issues of Morgana.
Ooh.
I do that immediately. It's contracts. They're all about
she's like, okay, you see this? I own you for all of this. Got it? Cool. Let's go.
Yeah. And, and I pay on time and promptly. So artists tend to like to work with me because I'm a reasonable human being. And
I have never met anyone that has worked with you that has ever said a bad thing about you ever. So,
well, I make a point to treat everybody well. And, life is hard enough. There's no reason to be a bitch about these things. So right. Everything can be worked out. And Alden, Warnia, actually I have to go review. Warnia turned in, I did a library thing yesterday in Anaheim, and Warnia turned in 4 more colored pages. So I need to go review those today.
Yay! Guess I know what you're doing when you leave.
Oh yeah, that's... I'll be doing that. I have to remind myself not to forget to do that. And then Rio, the main antagonist, we're still working on her character design a little bit. She's actually not revealed until the 2nd issue, and you just get hints of what's going on in the 1st issue, but. It's my usual deep world building with complex characters.
And that's what drug me into the first comic that I ever got with you, Boston Metaphysical Society, is you have this ability to create worlds, and people, even though it's in the pictures, they still can envision themselves there. They can envision these people. I love the way that you make these complex characters that they start off one way, and as the events that happen to them changes who they are. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, because life happens.
It does? What? No.
Yeah, life happens, and even to the characters.
So I have a question for you.
Sure.
I've seen a lot of portrayals of Morgana. Normally, she's the villain and a sorceress. What made you go this direction?
Because we live in a male-dominated society.
No.
Women of intelligence and power are usually deemed wicked, evil, sorceress, all of that. And so this is strictly from Morgana, who she's in her 40s. She's middle-aged from her point of view. and which I don't think we have ever seen an older Morgana. I think everyone just assumed she faded or died or whatever, and it's like, well, no, obviously she had this battle with Arthur, and she left, in my version, she left England and became a mercenary. But part of her story is that she lost her magic, and she lost her magic due to trauma, essentially, and because a lot happened, which will be revealed as the story goes on, of little hints. Yeah. So she arrives in, as you see in the trailer, she arrives in England, facing, political intrigue, assassination attempts. She has to face a son she hasn't seen in 20 years that she was forced to leave behind.
That's going to be traumatic.
Yeah. And the whole issue of she no longer has her magic. And so I wanted to represent that she's very good at her job. And that's one of the things I'll demonstrate. And her team was also very important to me. That's the cover by Rio.
I love the fact that you can actually see the age on her. Like,
yeah. Because older women know shit.
Mm-hmm.
And
they got it. They're experienced. They know what they're doing.
Yeah. And even then, even in your 40s, you can screw up too. So,
True.
it
unless you're me. No.
And even older, it's part of life. It's part of the learning process.
No, the fact that you went with a different route than most people do with Morgana is what actually intrigued me, because there's two figures that I know of, like Morgana and Lilith, and they're always portrayed as evil, vindictive women. It's just like, why? Because Lilith said no to Adam. She's like, I'm not going to be subservient to you, because Morgana's like, nah, I'm not going to be subservient to you. So we have to make them the bad guys.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to reveal it here because it's a spoiler, but there's a very good reason why she broke with her brother, and paid for it.
Well, yeah, don't spoil it for me, because
I'm not. I'll be quiet.
I did it.
Thank you.
Of course.
But
like a new series. Ow!
Yeah. What was interesting is putting together her team, and looking back, because this is kind of it's a magical realism. Obviously, there was no King Arthur in Camelot and all of that. That's all fictional, but it's also loosely based in English history and the movement of Vikings and Saxons and Picts and the Silk Road, which for those who don't know wasn't just one road. It was multiple trade routes from Europe to Asia and back and forth. So people did travel quite a bit, and from different cultures and different races, and much more so than most movies depict. Probably one of the more accurate portrayals of movement is the two shows Vikings and the Last Kingdom. And if you look in the background, like in Vikings in Kattegat, you'll see different races living there.
Mm-hmm.
And many of them were slaves that were captured. But yeah, there was a lot more mobility than people understood there to be, which is why we have a mixed group of people from around the world, because many of them were working the Silk Road trade route. Like Getty is a West African man who was a guardsman until things went south for him, working the trade route. Alina had to flee the Caliphate. She herself was a businesswoman in Persia, which was the norm actually for women in Persia, believe it or not, unlike today. Women before the Caliphate were soldiers, were business people, were not, they were treated equally. And so she had to flee that. Kaijo, I'm sure I'm mispronouncing her name horribly. I have to go listen to, I bring up little clips and not of how to pronounce people's names correctly. And it hasn't quite stuck yet.
It's either Kyojo or Kyojo.
Kyojo, possibly. If anyone out there can correct me, I will. Thank you. happily to be corrected. Though you don't see a lot of Koreans in Europe. In the backstory I gave her is that, yeah, there were merchants that traveled the Silk Road from Korea, but, you know, having her, the daughter of a widow who, you know, died and is taken in by a friend, you know, a Turkish friend, and then their political things go south, and she's sold as a slave, as just bounty from that family disintegrating. Roman mercenaries existed. So we have an Irish, a former Roman mercenary, and Ursmar was a Frankish thief who tried to pick Connell's pocket, and they end up being fast friends. So,
okay, I'm gonna go with the fact that Connell sounds like Batman. I'm sorry, son. Are you trying to pick my pocket? Here, put on a Robin suit.
And so it's, you know, it was a lot of fun creating the team characters. And I know it's a lot of characters, but, you know, it's a big world. So.
Well, it's a big world, and there's going to be, if I know your world, there's going to be plenty of time for all of these characters to get developed and to actually see where they shine. And again, I just love the fact that, you know, you have this really great group of characters. And the thing is you don't just put a bunch of characters into the story. It makes sense why they're there, how they got to be there. It wasn't just like, okay, well, I want this person in here, so boom, we'll just make this person up. I've paid attention to the work that you do when you do your writing. You do a lot of research, whether it's based off of history or fantasy or whatever it is. You do your research to know what was going on during those times within our world, to go, okay, yes, this will fit here. It's just not because I wanted to. It's like, no, I did want this character, but they fit here, and this is the reason why.
Yeah, I mean, I changed up a couple of the original characters I had ideas from because it didn't quite make sense. And then I thought, okay, well, I can change this because looking at the timeline of history and the movements of people, this would work and would seem logical, somewhat logical. Obviously, this is all fiction.
Right.
You know, but what I do like to ground my stories in reality, which is a good touchstone for the reader, because they're like, oh, you know, we know this little part over here is actually true. So I can suspend my belief for the rest of the magic and this stuff going on, because I can relate to the interpersonal relationships that are going on and the strife or the camaraderie that happens. Because, I mean, you can see, you know, two guys, you know, one guy finding another guy picking his pocket and then taking kind of a liking to him for having the gall to try to pick his pocket.
You can just see him going, really?
Really?
Come here. Right here. Like you can see it, you know, because not only do you develop these characters and make their placement within the world make sense, you give us enough within, you pick the right artists to convey, as well as the words that you write, to show us the type of personalities that they have. So every decision that they make makes sense based off of the personalities that you've given them.
Yeah. I work very hard to try to make that happen. And but this story is primarily a mother-son story that drives it, and all of the characters that either try to help them or hinder them, as they're each going through their own character arcs and what they have to deal with. Because this is a very different kind of Mordred too, than what people have seen.
By the way, I love Roberta, the fact that she even put the little glare here on the cover from the sword.
Lens flare. People are like, look at the lens flare.
That is, yo, that is badass.
The flare, I think that would be the colorist, Valentina Pinto. And she just did, everyone just did a tremendous job, and apparently really likes being on this project. So yay.
Hey guys, the lens flare is the reason why I picked this cover. I'm just saying.
Both covers have been very popular. So
both covers are great.
Yeah,
it's just the lens flare. It's like, how can I say no? It's blinding me. No. And then, of course, as always, you have all these really cool different rewards that people could go through. You got some really cool looking, like the metal bookmarker.
The metal bookmarks that Alden, are gonna be amazing.
And then, of course, you could get the metal covers of each of the covers.
Yes. And you can do both. You can do the bookmarks as add-ons, and you can do a lot of mix and match with the add-ons.
And then, there's all the other stuff. There it is, limited metal. Yeah, let's go. Shiny. Dude, I bet that lens flare is going to look bank on that metal thing. You're going to be like, ah!
Yeah. And the vendor I use for the metal comic, they do a tremendously good job. I'm using the same vendor as I did for Pikes Peak for the metals, and
nice.
did it. They look great.
And then there's the add-ons,
the metals and the bookmarks.
That's pretty, but I like this one better.
Oh, they're both so great.
They are. I now, even knowing that it's a mother-son story and seeing this, there's so much more feeling to that particular bookmark now than there was when you just originally saw it. I was like, okay, that's a cool shot. Now that you know that it's a mother-son story, that bookmark speaks so much more volumes, that little bit right there.
Yeah. No, Alden does great. It's just like, can you do this? Yes. Like throw him money. Let's keep him throwing money.
And then stretch goals.
Yeah, so we've made one stretch goal already. So everyone who pledges gets 6 additional digital comics, and those are all really good, by the way. And we're approaching our second stretch goal, which is a Morgana magnet.
I want that so bad.
Well, I think you're going to get it.
I think so too.
I think we'll get there.
And then the next one's, you don't get to know.
Yeah, I always keep those locks just because sometimes I want to change things.
Right.
For whatever reason.
Yeah, we're actually not that far off.
No, we're not that far off.
Give me my magnet now. Link in the description. It's right there. Bam. You can actually see it in the chat. You can just click on the link. It's right there. Do it. Do it now. Do it. Go. You gotta try. I mean,
but no, I'm very pleased with the reception. Our backer count is great, and that people are you know, like are willing, who there's some that have never heard of me or Boston Metaphysical, but they're like, okay, I'm willing to give this a chance. You know, here's my $6 for the digital. I'll give it a whirl. And I'm like, that's cool. You know, just, I once you read it, I think it will convince you, you will want more.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know, you're doing, you know, it's a different thing. It's fantasy. And I'm not saying that Boston Metaphysical doesn't have a little bit of fantasy to it, obviously.
Oh, yeah. It's just, it's a totally different vibe. And I get it.
This is a different vibe. So it's going to attract, but this is great because it means new people.
Right. Absolutely. It's a totally different vibe. There's not many instances in Boston Metaphysical. Yeah, we do have some fight scenes and action scenes like that. But yeah, I mean, Boston Metaphysical is definitely more cerebral.
Mm-hmm.
And here I get to do fight scenes.
Dude, I am so waiting to see the Korean woman just beat the snot out of somebody. Like, my money's on her and the West African guy. Like, nah, we could take everybody on.
Yeah, they all work very well as a team, and they all have their purpose in what they do, and it's a lot of fun. And of course, I do throw in a little bit of science, so you gotta, if you pay attention to some of it, in that there's like, yeah, you know, other people's technology is other people's magic.
Right.
So
besides, I saw Kyojo is one of my favorite types of fighters. She's an archer.
She is.
That's what I always pick. Archer. So Morgana's awesome, but I've already picked my favorite character. Archer, win.
Well, I mean, that's the point. Everyone's going to have their favorite, and that's great. Lena is a confidant of Morgana's, and that they have suffered some of the same problems and issues and traumas over the years. But she is the businesswoman. She handles all the contracts and the money. So she's all about the, you know, you want the team to work for you, you gotta pay up.
All right. She does come off across as like she would be Morgana's bestie out of all of them, just from what the few things that I've seen.
Yeah, she is, though. Getty, particularly in strategy and in warfare, is, you know, her other right hand. They all serve a purpose.
Well, everybody has their strengths and weaknesses, and you blend them all together to make the ultimate team.
Yeah.
You know, just like in any sport or any form of combat or anything that you do, that's how you pull it together.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just like building a comic book, you have to have the best writers, the best artists, and then you get magic with Morgana Pendragon. Blech. I can't speak today.
Pendragon. Yeah, I'm also working with an editor this time, David Avalone, who's done Elvira. I mean, he's done so much stuff. He's been working.
I know that name.
Yeah, he's been working in the industry longer than I have, and so I just needed to get other eyeballs on the script, and it's interesting. The story-wise, I mean, I really like working with him. Story-wise, he didn't really have many comments-wise, but he's teaching me how to be a better comic book writer, and that's great.
That's awesome.
And that's what I wanted. So, yes, he will be credited as editor.
Way to go, David!
Yeah, and he's anxiously awaiting issue 2, which I'm like 3/4 of the way through, because as I mentioned, all the spinning plates, I had to get that done first before I get back to here, and because Alden's ready to go too.
Y'all heard that, right? Issue 2.
Issue 2.
So you better be getting this, because issue 2 is already in pre-production. You got it. Come on, let's get on it. Get on it. Of course, I love the fact that your editor's already excited for issue 2. Like, give, feed, now. Like that there should actually speak volumes of the fact that he absolutely enjoyed the first one.
Yeah. So no, that I was really pleased when I got his notes back, and part of it, we should always be learning and upping our game, and that's what I wanted to do here. And I've had some great beta readers for Boston Metaphysical that have been awesome in helping. But yeah, this is a whole different thing than that. So yeah, like you say, you have to play to everyone's strengths.
Right. And I think, I mean, based off of you, and I mean, we've known each other now for quite some time. And, the very first time I picked up one of your comics, I mean, I'm not even a big history buff or steampunk buff. I was into ghosts. Like, that was like the only thing that really attracted me to Boston Metaphysical Society was, ghost hunting. Cool. I'll check it out. That was, and then I got so wrapped up in it. I'm not even going to lie, knowing that the series is coming to an end, it's kind of like, I'm not sure I could breathe.
Well, Boston Metaphysical isn't coming to an end. I mean, it's the Pikes Peak. I need to finish that series before we can go anywhere else. But I do have, there's going to be at least one more series after Pikes Peak. Okay. As far as Boston Metaphysical. Because I do have to, the story arc for Pikes Peak is completed, but at the end, it generates another issue.
Right.
So I don't want spoilers there. For those, since it's not even remotely out yet. But yeah, there's going to be at least one more 4-issue series of Boston Metaphysical after Pikes Peak. And then after that, I'll think about it, what I want to do and what's going on with Morgana and everything else. So there's lots of things I want to do, and eventually go back to writing the novel trilogy for Boston Metaphysical.
Yeah. So Boston Metaphysical has so much, from books to comics to audio tape.
Drama, yeah.
So is this only going to be a 4-issue series, or do you think, depending on how popular it gets, it may grow as well?
Yeah, it depends on the reception. If the reception is good, particularly after we eventually, obviously we'll go to trade at some point with the 4 issues of Morgana. And in the process, yeah, I mean, I have some ideas of going beyond the 4 issues, but I want to finish this first.
Right.
And then usually in the process of doing all this, I'll go like, oh yeah, let's go do that. And then I'll go write it down and put it off somewhere. And then when I'm ready to go deal with it, then I go like, okay, I'll go pull that off the shelf and see where that leads me.
All right. I'm just curious, because it's like, I'm so excited, and I really can't wait till, I mean, I gotta wait like 19 more days before the Kickstarter's finished, but I know me, I get my stuff pretty quick, so.
Yeah. Well, it's probably, delivery is, I've put July, and that's gonna have to happen because we're moving after that.
I know, you're moving.
So yeah, everything's got to get out of here by July. Yeah, we're not moving until after San Diego Comic-Con.
That makes sense. I mean, why would you, because you live in California, why would you move when you have such a big show?
Yeah,
it'd be easier just to go then move, because you're moving to Oregon, you said?
Yeah. We're moving north.
Snow!
There's not that much snow in Salem. but there is rain, and I will have to adjust to that.
But no smog.
They don't have smog, but they do field burnings and things like that.
Jesus.
Yeah. It doesn't matter where you go. I mean, they don't have the smog, and it depends on which the wind blows. And but the fact of the matter is, I can do what I do anywhere.
Oh yeah, that's true.
And I travel anyway. So I'll be doing, instead of local shows in Southern California, I'll be doing local shows up in Oregon and Washington.
You don't know where to go now.
which is fine. But yeah, I mean, I fly to places. I mean, this year, I think the only one I'm flying to, because I knew a lot of changes were happening, so I scaled down my con schedule this year. I'm doing Worldcon in Seattle, that's in August. And we'll actually probably still be, I'm not sure where we're going to be in August. We'll see. I might be up there. We might be in the middle of stuff.
Right.
So,
and I know a lot of shows that used to be semi bigger have actually cut down a little bit, and they made their things a lot smaller. So I've heard a lot of comic creators going, well, I've kind of trimmed down as much of the traveling that I'm doing, and I handpicked like either my favorite shows or the places that I do the best at. Yeah,
I'm doing some small and large. Well, in 2 weeks, I'm doing LA Festival of Books, which is huge. And that's the first time I've done that. I'm sharing a booth with Alejandro Lee. You've seen his work. He designs the bookmarks and many of the lapel pins. He's marvelous. His work is gorgeous.
I've complimented Alejandro many a times.
Yeah,
you tell him I said hi, even though he has no idea who the hell I am. Tell him I said hi.
Yeah, when I was at doing the Anaheim Library thing yesterday, they have a little mini con called Anacon. One gentleman he goes, well, I'm need a designer for like a pen or whatever. Who did you use? I said, oh, it's Alejandro Lee. And then to find out that they're going to be at LA Festival of Books, I said, well, come by the booth and talk to him. He's going to be right there. Great guy. And what else? Where was I going in my brain cons and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then the weekend I'm doing actually my very first free comic book day. I've actually never done one before, at the Santa Monica Library.
Nice.
On the 3rd. Fortunately, they've arranged for parking for us, because if you ever go to Santa Monica, make sure you have a parking space before you leave, because we've actually gone there to do something and had to come home because you can't find
a place to park.
No place to park.
Oh dear God.
Yeah, it's pretty awful. And then I've got Comic-Con Revolution in Ontario in May. Hellmouth Con in Torrance in June. Yeah, they used.
I just love that name.
I know. Well, they used to be WeedCon, and I'd been doing them for years. And then they had their ups and downs, particularly through COVID, and they had some hard times. But then Ray, the event organizer, came up with a brilliant idea of having it at Torrance High School. That's where they filmed Buffy.
Right.
Oh my God. They have tours of where they film. They have all these meet and greets. James Marsters, otherwise known as Spike, is going to be there. Juliette Landau is going to be there. I guess all 3 actors who played the principals are going to be there. And it caps out at like $900 per day. Last year was only 1 day, and they maxed out. They had to turn people away, and people were shocked. They says, "Okay, well, we want to get our tickets now. We've got everything else." And he says, "There's no more tickets." They're like, "Oh." So yeah, they cap, I think, at $900 a day.
Well, see, I got my way in. No, I'm with her. I need to help her. I'm with her.
But it's an absolute great time. And as a vendor, it's a lot of fun. We're actually in the gym with those horrible gym chairs. Yeah. So I said, can I bring my own chair? They said, oh yeah, of course you can. They're really cool. They're very nice. And so yeah, that's the only thing. You need to bring your own chair because those hard metal chairs will just kill your back.
Oh yeah. Really? I thought they would just pull out the bleachers. Y'all could just sit on those.
All the bleachers were pushed back so everyone can have their tables in the in there.
You get the bleacher in front of you for your table and you get to sit on a bleacher. Go, huh? That would be so messed up. I always had fears of getting stuck behind those bleachers.
I think everybody did at some point. Those were scary.
They're terrifying. They're like, okay, they're moving back. Ah, you have to run.
Well, those bleachers are always straight out of a horror movie. Just pick your high school horror movie, and there's always a bleacher scene in there.
Carrie.
Oh, yeah.
Straight off. That's the first thing that my mind goes to. That would have been a great Final Destination way to go, though. They should have done that.
Yeah. They missed an opportunity there.
Oh, are you finally here to say hi?
Hi, sweetie.
Say hi, Madeleine. Fizzy likes her Madeleine. It's okay, guys. She know they've. No, I'm still talking.
But the tail's wagging.
I know. You were so good, and you made it almost all the way to the end. There you go.
Almost.
She's
And then,
like, you gotta have some attention to me before this podcast ends. That's how this works.
Absolutely. Then in June, like Hellmouth-Con in June, and then San Diego Comic-Con in July. I'll be in small press. And then Worldcon in August. I'm waiting. I'm not sure what's going to happen with Rose City. I know they rotate new people. I've been doing Rose City the last 5 years, and I know they give preference to people who are new. So I may be going down the waiting list. They curate.
You know what though? That's kind of cool though, that they're like, no, we want some new faces and give other people chances.
No, yeah, I get that. I have absolutely no
I like
problem with that. And because I noticed this last year, I didn't get notified until way late, and I realized, oh, okay, I'm way down on the waiting list. Right. Totally fine. If I get in, great. If I don't, that's fine too. I'm going to be busy at the house, so I'm not. Right. It's all good, and then I'll do it next year because I'll be able to drive.
Yay!
and that'll be fun. So, and I'll have new stuff, and actually by that time I'll probably be applying just under Queen of Mercia with both Morgana and Morgana and BMS, and
I just can't wait to see the new house.
You won't be seeing this anymore behind me.
I won't be seeing that anymore. But that's your backdrop. No.
my backdrop. Yes. No, it's just my backdrop. Yeah, it'll be nice to no longer have an office that's also fulfillment, storage, library, spin room, workout room, and whatever else. So yeah,
And is the hubby excited to move?
Yeah, I think I've been wanting to move for the last 25 years. So
after 25 years, he finally went, okay.
Well, a lot of things had to fall into place. He's retired now, and a lot of things have changed. And my father passed away, like a year and a half, a little over a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
And we really needed to stay around. I mean, he was 97, so he lived a long life. So there was a lot of family things that I had to stay around for.
A lot of people don't realize that sometimes finishing off after someone passes can take a year, sometimes 2. I've seen even up to 3 years to get everything finished and finalized and taken care of. So I get that.
Yeah, I couldn't write for 8 months after my father passed because I was traveling between here and his house, and my brother showed up and we're dealing with everything, and it's just, the travel back and forth and dealing with finishing things up. And, you got to close out credit cards, insurance, and, eventually getting the house on the market. You got to get the house fixed up and then get the house on the market and all of that stuff. So yeah, actually I've finished all of because I was the executor, the estate, just 2 months ago. We wrapped it up. And I was lucky that my father made it as simple as possible. And yet it took me like almost 1.5 years to finish everything. So yeah, it does take a lot of time, even when people set it up as streamlined as they possibly can.
Yeah,
sometimes it just takes time. And that literally took 8 months of creative time was gone.
Yeah.
So, but now I'm back and doing too many projects. It's like trying to make up for lost time here.
I just think you like to stay busy.
Well, it's not just staying busy. It's being in the creative space and creating things. I guess because because the term staying busy to me means you're just doing whatever and there's no purpose to it.
See, for me, staying busy means I'm always still creating. I'm thinking of what I'm going to do. I'm working on thumbnails. I'm, booking podcasts. That's busy for me.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's a different, I define it differently. That's all.
Because you may have the same problem I do. You'll be there and I'm like, okay, I'm going to bed now. And then your brain goes, hey, have you thought about this? And you're just like, crap.
Yeah, that's happened before. I won't go into detail. I think I was at San Diego Comic-Con last year, and the artist for my 10-page short turned in some pages, and I looked at them, and I was tired. It was a busy day, long days at San Diego. I said, there's something wrong with it. I can't put my finger on what is wrong with this. So I went to bed. I'm not going to embarrass her, so I'm not going to say what it was.
No.
I woke up and I went like, oh crap, that's what it is. So my husband's sleeping. I'm in the bathroom, like texting her and with stuff of what it was. And I'm like, okay, and really it was, I put the fault on me in that I did not I assumed some things, and I should have explained it better. So I'm
just trying to picture her look. Who's messaging me? What?
Well, no, she was in Italy, so it was like in the middle of the day for her. So
okay, at least it was that. Could you imagine?
No. It was in Italy, but I just remember going like, God, there's something I'm tired. There's something wrong with this panel, and I went like, oh, okay, this is my fault. I didn't explain. I made an assumption. I didn't explain it well. And that's what I said. I said, I guess I didn't explain it well. This is what I meant. Here's some images. Can you please correct it? And she went like, oh yeah, no problem. I said, oh great. No, that's wonderful. But I just went like, oh, yeah.
And again, the reason why people love you is because I love working with you is like, you're like, okay, well, maybe I didn't explain it like this or like this. Like, you don't blame it all on just the artist. Like, maybe I didn't make it very clear.
Yeah, it was not her fault. It was a particularly American thing. And then when I realized it, I'm like, yeah, there's no way she's going to there was no way she would know this. And that's totally fair.
That's American. That's stupid. Let's do that now.
Well, it had to be American for the story, and it's like, right. Oh, this is a very particular item, particular to the U.S. during that time period, and there's no way no way. So absolutely not her fault in any shape or form.
But like I said, a lot of people just, want to. I've never heard anybody ever say anything bad about you. I've talked to a few people that you've worked with. Because I had, oh crap, now his name just went out of my head. He was in your audiobook.
HB.
Yeah, HB talks highly of you all the time.
Oh, HB,
everybody loves him.
Amazing.
Yeah.
He's an amazing voice actor.
Yeah, he is.
I don't understand why he's not like famous.
I don't either.
I don't understand that. He's amazing.
He's so brilliant and talented, and I need to get him back on the show because we've like said hi, but
he does games. He does like voices for games, right?
I know, perfect, because I do gaming videos. So yay!
Oh, yeah, I mean, oh my God, he's so good. And then I remember he came to help out at New York Comic Con like right after the pandemic. I think I told you the story, right?
Mm-hmm.
That he was there, dressed in character and having a lot of fun. And I think his cousin came by and she said, "Thank you so much for having him here. It has always been his dream to have a table at New York Comic Con, and you gave him that." And I said, like, "Do you understand how talented he is?"
He's extremely talented. And he's in so many groups and he does so many things. And it's like, how are you still down here? You should be way more up here. Not you, him.
Oh, no. HB, the talent, well, from the whole audio drama, everyone is like amazing. And, yeah, unfortunately, I mean, people have asked me, "Oh, please get, do another audio drama." And you'd have to start cloning me. I can't.
There's only so much you could do.
And, yeah, and I'd really have to expand the business and have a separate audio division in order to do that and hire people to handle that, because I just, I would have to oversee it, but all the pediddling things that have to be done, they're not pediddling, they're important things that
they're important, but you can only stretch yourself so far.
Yeah, and unfortunately, there's not a lot of money in audio dramas, particularly from the what would you call it, the independent creator side.
Right.
I mean, I'm sure they make money from those who, with bigger names, A-listers, things like that. They will bring in the money, but it doesn't make any sense monetarily. Unfortunately, because I actually talked to my lawyers about possibly splitting off and having an audio division, but it didn't make sense. Not at this time.
No, which is kind of sad because I love audio dramas because like it really allows your imagination to
yeah, they're great.
expand.
They're great. Yeah.
I love them so much. Radio, that proper medium. No. Well, Madeleine, let's go ahead, recap one more time about Morgana.
Morgana, yes. For those who are just dropping in, the story is about Morgana Pendragon. Having lost her magic when she fled England 20 years ago, she leads a mercenary team wherever the best paycheck is. All that changes when she receives a message to return. Her brother, King Arthur, is dying. Now she must not only face Mordred, the child she left behind, but a new threat which may forever change her and the future of her country. And we are funded. We are heading towards our second stretch goal. We run until the morning of Friday, May 2nd. But as usual, it's better to pledge now as opposed to later, so we can get more stretch goals in.
Because remember, guys, it's already funded. You have nothing to lose. You will get your stuff.
You will get your stuff.
Trust me, I've backed plenty of things from this lady. She always delivers. And if you're looking for great storytelling, beautiful artwork, really well-developed characters, this will be another great series for you. and maybe you'll find even more of Madeleine's work that you'll enjoy. And of course, we also understand that a lot of people are going through hard times. So, of course, if you can't back it, if you could just spread awareness, that would be greatly appreciated, because you may reach to somebody that we don't reach ourselves that may be interested in this.
Yes, sharing is caring. Sharing, posting, all that good is wonderful.
And of course, if they want to learn a bit more about you, Madeleine, where can they find you on social media?
They can find me on X at Holly-Rosing. Facebook, I have multiple accounts, either Madeleine Holly-Rosing, Boston Metaphysical, or Queen of Mercia. I'm also on Blue Sky. I don't know, how do we describe ourselves on the Blue Sky thing app? I think it's...
I just always... Just look for her just find her at MC Holly 1. If you type that in, you should be able to find her on Blue Sky.
Okay. Yeah,
I think that's how that would work.
Yeah, I'm always curious how that the best way, if you don't have the actual link.
Well, I can do that. Give me just a second. First, we're going to do Kickstarter link. Oh, nope, that's the wrong place. That was not where I was supposed to go. I was still in the wrong place. Kickstarter link. Bam. Going into there. And then we'll go ahead and copy this link address. And if you're on Blue Sky, which if you're not on Blue Sky, what are you doing? Get to Blue Sky. There is her social media link on Blue Sky.
Okay. Well, that's good. Yeah, because verbally I was never, like, how do we describe how to find us on Blue Sky? Okay, MC Holly 1.
Aw.
Bye.
Bye, Cassie. And thank you guys so much for joining. I greatly appreciate everybody who stopped by, say hi, and just go check out Madeleine. Go check out a lot of the amazing work that she does. Definitely, if you're in the area of one of the shows that she's at, stop by, say hi. She's an amazing person, and she's so lovely, and she'll talk to everybody. She's not a creator that shuns her nose at anybody. Unless you're like a complete jackass, then maybe. And definitely check out Morgana Pendragon and back it or share it. It'll be greatly appreciated. And from all of us here at AGP, we say thank you so much. And thank you, Madeleine, again for reaching out and always doing this show. I always feel so honored that you take time out of your schedule to come to my show and chit chat with me.
I like talking to you.
Oh, love you and love you guys out there. And we'll see you on the next one. Bye.